I have over $12,000 in mining rig hardware just for one cryptocurrency. A cryptocurrency that many are quick to write off. An older cryptocurrency. But these mining rigs I have are very efficient. Hi, by the way, my name is Vosk, and right now you're kind of walking around with me on the VoskCoin mining farm. I've been pouring so much effort into building this thing out, especially over the last year or so, but I've been working on this mining journey for over 7 years now, and today I really want to focus on these highly profitable, highly efficient mining rigs that can really transcend many different electricity rates. But they've come at a price, and how much money have I earned with these miners? One of these I've had for about a year. The other one I've had for a couple months. So we're gonna look at mining profitability, and spoiler, right, we've mined towards $1 just in the last month. But what did we spend to do that? Today we're digging back into the Jasminer X16-Q and the Jasminer X16-P, which we previously reviewed. But what's changed since then may surprise you. It's sticker shock when you look at the prices, at least for the big one, right? And I mean, it's what's gonna end up feeling like a nearly $10,000 mining rig. But you'll be shocked at how high of an electricity rate you can profitably run this. Whether or not you should be mining at those electricity rates, we'll talk about a bit later, especially maybe even more so for another day. The Q stands for quiet, really built largely around being a well-suited miner for at home, but you still need a proper electricity connection, right? 220 voltage plus for this to be able to run it. This is on Jingle Mining, and they really position themselves as being like the key Jasminer distributor. The other thing that they've become a key distributor on are these coal engine FPGA miners. And before that, the superscaler K10, but they didn't have any sort of exclusivity on that one. A key note about this, though, is one of the most interesting coins to mine with it was Ironfish, but they just forked to the fish hash algorithm, which means that this can't mine it until they make a new bit stream for it, if they're even able to. While this is branded as Coal Engine, the manufacturer is Superscaler. While you only find a Coal Engine for sale here, it seems like the Superscaler K10s are not really being produced much, if at all, now. These consumed a bit more electricity, but performed relatively similar. And it looks like they stole RPM's picture. Classic eBay. Always ripping stuff. Dude, do you guys ever do anything yourself? Doesn't seem like it.
Want to keep your mining profitable post-Bitcoin halving? Check out Revolution Mining. They offer Bitcoin and altcoin ASIC miner hosting with competitive electric rates, all hosted within the US. They're currently offering a bundle sale on their Antminer S21 Bitcoin miners, where you can purchase and host 3 miners at a discounted rate. And if you're not into Bitcoin mining, they also offer Caspa bundles too, including the KS3M and the KS5 Pro. We have a KS3M with Revo and mined over 1,700 Caspa in the last 7 days. To learn more, check out the link in the video description below. Thank you to Revolution Mining for sponsoring this video.
GPU mining, FPGA mining, and ASIC mining is heating up yet again with all this fish hash, Ironfish stuff. They have forked, so now it's great for GPU miners. Will FPGA miners be able to readjust and start mining this? And then I think we'll see ASIC miners for this fish hash mining algorithm, and I don't think they will switch off of it because this algorithm, long story short, is supposed to be built to level the playing field, if you ever heard that one before. Check out our full video on Ironfish if you want to learn more about that. We've also been able to confirm through the grapevine that we have ALPH ASIC miners, which is putting out over $100,000 in newly mined coins per day on the horizon from Bitmain, new Antminers, as well as Goldshell. All right, so right after I shot this, that evening, Goldshell came out and announced their AL box or ALPH box or their whatever, the ALPH ASIC miner. And the stats are ridiculous. So it's 360 gigahash a second, consuming 180 watts. So if you take an NVIDIA 3080, after you pay the electric of like 33 cents a day, you're gonna pull in about 29 cents mining ALPH. If you run Goldshell's new mini ASIC miner, it'll pull in $113 currently. But remember, they're gonna make a bunch of these. Bitmain's about to come out with their own ALPH ASIC, and now we have word that IBLink is also rumored to be launching an ALPH ASIC miner, and IBLink as well as Goldshell seem to have a lot of overlap on their miner models recently. So one of the promotions Goldshell is doing to try to generate buzz on this miner is give some people early access. Basically say, hey, send us your alpha address and we will sync one of these miners up to it. And they gave me the opportunity. So I said, yeah, that sounds great because it's supposed to make like $100 a day. And they left it on my address for a couple days. When the miner went online, it mined 15 coins and then 22 coins, all the way up to 47 coins. I do think that these 2 days, something weird happened with the earnings, hitting a block or whatever else. And I think that if you actually take the average of these days, we get a pretty clear line right here, which would be more in line with our hash rate on the mining pool, which is about 35-ish coins a day. So I'm going to take this number of 36 coins, 36.6 coins. Because we go to 0.6. That is $98 a day of mining profitability. And the coin is down 20% in the last 7 days, but up a whopping 550, really 3% over the last year. Still, this is crazy mining profitability. This matches the mining profitability calculators. This matches the hype. This is an insanely profitable miner. But, okay, when they make more of these, how profitable is it really going to be? Because when you look at the numbers, I mean, it's going to be stupid math at this point, but if you really make $100 a day, I mean, this thing costs a couple dollars a day to operate. It uses, around 100 watts of electricity. The electrical footprint of this is like 30 times less than a Bitmain Antminer S21, a full-size Bitcoin miner. This thing is projected to make 37 grand over the next year. Okay, fine, take out the power bill. It's not even that much. 36 grand. So when you see the high price tag of these, where they're being sold somewhere between $8,000 to $13,000, $14,000, right? Let's even take a 13 grand price here. You'd break even almost 3 times over the next year if nothing else changed. But of course, things always change. It's just kind of hard to say where things go here. Is Bitmain going to turn around and drop a behemoth that's way better than the Owl box? I don't know. Will ALPH keep rocketing up in price? It's only a $200 million market cap. That is nothing compared to cryptocurrencies like Caspa, which commands a market cap in the billions of dollars. I would guess that it's more fair to compare performance to something like Nervos Network, though, which has been recently doing very well in price and around $1 billion market cap. So that's still a 5x. There's just so many uncertainties, but historically, first batch buyers of miners have done well, but it's just kind of gross how expensive many mining rigs have gotten. So, I don't know. This is the data, and you're going to have to say, I'm going for it, or I'm not. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for one. But I double convinced myself to do all this crazy stuff because not only do I build the VoskCoin mining farm, but I need some crazy videos for YouTube too. As always, time reveals all. So we'll see what happens. But let's bring it back to our focus here, the X16-P and the X16-Q. They're projected right now, when I'm recording this video, to be mining about $12 and $4 a day in mining profitability. And Ethereum Classic, per mining pool stats, is the 5th most profitable coin to mine, putting out $500,000 per day. All right, so to put that into perspective, like nobody really talks or cares about Ethereum Classic mining, like general sentiment, right? But it's a little bit more than 1/3 of the daily mining profitability of Caspa. To be honest, I see more buzz about Nervos mining, Cadena mining, among many others, than I do Ethereum Classic. Yet, both of those cryptocurrencies I just mentioned, combine them, they don't even equal half of the daily emission. Ethereum Classic continues to live in Ethereum shadow in every way, shape, and form. including just having a bunch of overflow miners, since Ethereum is, as you probably know by now, no longer mineable. I've said this before, but I want to say it again. I think Ethereum Classic does itself a huge disservice by not just becoming its own brand. Just call yourself anything. Alpha Ethereum, right? Alphas aren't a common thing in this era. I don't know, there's an assault on masculinity, not on my watch. But in all seriousness, this whole classic coin branding thing is an archaic thing that barely worked several years ago and does not work at all now. And that's one of the reasons why Ethereum Classic is only up 50% in the last year. But if we compare Ethereum Classic to its controversial rival, Ethereum is only up 84% in the last year. It's actually performing terribly right now, right? And we go to Big Bad Orange Coin. Bitcoin's up 135%. You could have bought the most obvious cryptocurrency to grab to be safe and be up more than Ethereum. I think Ethereum will surge, ETF, rumors, news, and stuff like that. But one of the main coins everyone wanted to count out, right? Solana is up 811%. Now that's like a cryptocurrency return that turns heads and gets people interested. Even Dogecoin has recently rallied and is up 135% over the last year. That's 100% more than Ethereum Classic. And before it dipped back down, it was up more than 100% more than Ethereum Classic. So that's my 2 cents on the subject, right? I guess you could say I'm generally bearish in this regard. But let's kind of bring it back to the miner focus and the miner profitability and how much I made over the last month, for example. So if we take the X16-Q 24-hour hash rate of 2 gigahash a second, if we look at what it's supposed to do, a little bit under 2 gigahash a second, 1000 megahash is 1 gigahash a second. And so it's going to be the same thing with the X16-P. It's supposed to do 5800 megahash a second, or basically 5.8 gigahash a second. So with that daily average hash rate, we can see that we pretty much get 0.2 ETC a day. And when we add up the mining profitability for the last month and round it out, what do we have? We have 6 ETC mined, or $182 mined on a machine that looks cool, easy to deploy, it's quiet, it's been running for about a year, so we've got good performance in that regard. But a $182 30-day return on a machine that cost over $3,000 is not exactly where you want to be with crypto mining. And this is before the electric bill. So I will spend $45 in electricity to run this, meaning I'm really realizing about $130 of ETC for mining. So I basically get 4.3 extra Ethereum Classic than I could have bought over the last month, spending $45. And of course that disregards the lump sum with the cost of an actual miner. Let's look at something that will be more intriguing to you. The X16-P. Its average hash rate per day, this is a bit of a round up, but it's about 5,900 megahash a second per day, which is a bit better than it's advertised as performing. This equates to about 0.58 ETC a day, really like 0.585. There's a good bit of variance here on this mining profitability, but that adds up to about 17.5 ETC, which is about $531 or $32 a day at current prices. This machine cost me at 10 cent per kilowatt hour electricity rate about $123 to run for the month. So just so I don't terribly mess this up, right, it's about 13 Ethereum Classic I'm putting in my pocket over that 123 spent. Again, we have a miner machine here at play, a very expensive one. This is one of the more expensive ASIC miners that you can buy throughout the world right now. If you take Kaspa mining out of the equation, this would actually be one of the most expensive mining rigs. But some things that people need to really kind of understand and appreciate on this device is its density. Right, so it's mining about $17 a day in Ethereum Classic. It only consumes 1,900 watts of electricity. That's not that much. The latest generation Bitmain Antminer S21s are consuming 3,500 watts of electricity. it's going to feel like double. And this makes this just much more diverse to deploy. They could double my electricity rate, and this would still be a pretty profitable mining rig. This miner I can see being very appealing for people that have a lot of capital and either not a great electricity rate, but they want to be in the mining game, or they want density, right? It's like, so let's say I only have 100 amps, 200 amps to build my own little mini mining farm. And I have a lot of money. I need to buy the most expensive mining rigs to get the most density. Sometimes people focus a bit too much on the bang for buck or the projected return on investment or this, that, whatever. And I'm not trying to make a big case for this and push for it, but I just want to talk about the positive. The negatives, obviously, it's expensive. Like, for example, over the last month, I bought 12 Miner K7s at about $3,400 a piece, right? And they were mining $20, $30, $34 a day each. But that coin's kind of all over the place, and they've gone up in price a bit since then. But the bottom line is you just kind of look at these miners, you look at your personal situation, you look at your budget, and then you make a decision based off of that. This miner would be an absolute grand slam, incredible thing if it was cheaper. But I don't think they need to make it cheaper. Contrary to what somebody will say in the comments down here on YouTube, right? These are continuing to sell out. These aren't in stock. They're not sitting on a bunch of these. It says pre-sale. You want to get one of these? You're 1 to 2 months out right now. And in my opinion, I think crypto's just getting warmed up. But the latest leak on Jasminers is fucking crazy. The X44 series. Again, there's a Q version and a P version. Quiet, performance. Let me just slap you in the face with the performance version first. It's not 2,000 megahash a second, it's 23,000 megahash a second. It's more than 5 times the performance of the X16P at an additional 400 watts of electrical consumption. Oh, well, how about the X44Q? It is more powerful than the X16P at 7,800 megahash a second and consumes about half of the electricity at about 780 watts. I will say that Jasminer, very proud of their self-developed chips. Very cool, right? They are notoriously late to market. The X16P basically came out a year later than it was supposed to. So I have personally no doubt in my mind that this is a 2025 release, at least by the time you see much volume other than some early prototype units and probably, unfortunately, some private orders fulfilled there. But this absolutely makes a case against the X16Q and the X16P. But to counter that real quick, the efficiency of those units will still keep them interesting and viable until Jasminer could make so many units to just completely push them out of the profitability market. If there is any miner that's more at risk, it's actually the Bitmain Antminer E9 Pro that also mines Ethereum Classic. For any GPU miners that are still hanging on to Ethereum Classic ETC hash mining, see you later. This is game over for you. So I've personally really focused on, like, do I have enough miners deployed? Am I like where I want to be personally? Because I just don't want crypto to keep running. And then mining rigs, yes, they become so profitable, but they also become so expensive, right? The Bitmain Antminer S19, if you bought it in the 2021 Bitcoin crypto bull run, it was incredibly profitable, but they were also selling for 10, 12, 14, 15 grand. Many people that bought miners at the top never actually broke even on them. Or maybe if they held all the coin and only recently, right, years later, they would have broken even. It's the equivalent of buying the top of the mining rig market, like you can buy the top of a cryptocurrency price. So anyway, that's my data, that's my 2 cents. Take from all of this whatever you will. You're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel where we love mining, we talk about passive income, ways to deploy your capital, and everything else. And if you need the best reason ever to subscribe, please, it's because we got Tails. She's our CPIO, our Chief Passive Income Officer here at the VoskCoin. Everything. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one, hopefully.